And we're live.
Hey, Facebook, good morning. Good morning to you. Y'all know who it is. It's your favorite baby mothers.
Hey, y'all.
Welcome to the Coco Mom Connect, baby. It's Saturday morning. Happy holidays. I think we 14 days out from Christmas. Hey, this show today is for those of us that may be grieving a lost one. Today is for those of us that may not have any joy in this holiday season. We got one of our Coco moms coming on today, our proud Coco mom. Today's a special day for her. And we wanted to create this atmosphere, this environment, this platform for her and for you today. Come on in and grab a seat. Come on and grab a seat. Tag your friends. Let them know we here, baby. Today's a new day. Happy Saturday. Hey, Elle, we love you, baby. We here for you. Start your watch parties. Y'all gonna want to join this conversation. When you get here, give us a thumbs up. Tell us good morning. Say hello. Let us know you here with us. Nothing lost during the holidays, baby. We here. This is that community we cultivated. We here today on this Saturday morning to share this space with you. Come on in with us. Come on in. We hugging you. What's up, Alexia? What's up, Anika?
Hey.
Good morning.
Hey.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning.
Hey, listen, today is a happy day, right?
Absolutely.
It's a happy Saturday because we woke up another morning. But we know that everybody don't have this same joy with this wake up this morning.
Absolutely.
And so, listen, welcome, sisters. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Coco Connect this morning. How y'all doing?
Doing pretty good. I'm still getting my life together. Just got off of a red eye.
Welcome back to the East Coast.
Right. Coco Mom tour to San Fran, actually, to support a Coco family who had experienced the loss of their Coco grandma.
Condolences.
Coco's sister and aunt. So, we definitely are speaking truth when we talk about community. We jump and we go big time. So shout out to the family of the beautiful Lily Young Vason, our Coco Queen, Coy, and her amazing mom. And we just love on them as well throughout this time.
Yes. Our condolences to the family. Thank you, Alexia, for going to represent our community, man. We appreciate you.
That's right. No problem. That's what we do.
Anika, how you doing today?
Feeling good. I myself also just returned from a work trip in Arizona on Thursday evening. So last night was my first night back on this coast. And I went to bed way too late because I still thought I was on the other side. So
you feeling it this morning?
I'm working it out. So
both of y'all somewhere on another time zone. Y'all body just present with us this morning.
Listen. It is serious. It's serious. So how are you doing? Your hair looking all slicked up?
Don't it look nice up?
Got the
I feel like I greased my scalp this morning.
I mean, girl, you had to. We see the parts.
Yeah, we see the parts.
When you get them locks retwisted, you see them parts, baby. Them parts can't be gray. You got to moisturize their scalp so they can see that your hair is not gray and your roots ain't. I got a couple strands up there, but
how long did it take to do?
Brittany fast, man. She went through it probably about an hour and a half with the wash.
Wow.
But I can tell you what, shout out to the shampoo girls. Okay.
Yeah, right.
Shout out to them shampoo girls because the young lady she had washing my hair, all I know is when I woke up, okay, she was still standing over and she was in the scalp. And I was like, dang, I done fell asleep. I said, was I snoring? She was like, a little. And I was like, I done fell asleep in the chair. I know I done woke up this salon plaza. I know I was a horn coming down the hallway. But shout out to the shampoo girls that get in there and get you to relax and get you, confident and the stylist and all that stuff that's in our community. So shout out to everybody that's doing something to help us with our self-maintenance and our self-care.
Speaking of which, that's a good little commercial break to shout out to all those who are tuning in. We are doing our holiday season, Coco Connect. It's the end of the year. It's December. And so this year, we decided to do something special for our Coco moms as it relates to a giveaway. And so we are doing a self-care giveaway. We have some amazing donations that have come from some phenomenal businesses such as Anika and Writings on the Wall, with a rediscovery session through writing. We have some Coco self-care boxes. We have some counseling sessions donated from Shauna. We have a virtual meditation session, or if you are in the Philly or surrounding area, a water movement session. And shout out to Bria Anderson, our Coco mom from Chicago, our millennial Coco mom. She was on with us back over the summer. She is a super dope Coco mom. She's managing being a mother, a wife in the MLB league, and navigating all of what it takes to keep your sanity and all of that through that. So she knows a lot about self-care. Shout out to Coco Dad Terry Harris for donating the coaching session. Coco Mom Robin Murphy for donating. So we got some amazing donations. We got financial literacy coaching coming in as well from a literacy coach. So financial literacy coach. So for you Coco moms, or if you are tuning in, send this information to some Coco moms. Let them know. All they got to do is sign up. The need-based giveaway here is I need self-care. Right. I had some Coco moms drop in the DM and were literally like, I need self-care. Like, I need this. I'm on the brink of breakdown. I need it. That's the need. This is what we want to do. Hey, Coco Dad.
What's up,
Ecotral Perry. All the way down there area. But yeah, thank you for bringing that up, T. So just please get your giveaway signups in. We're doing it through today. We're taking through tomorrow, taking signups, and then we're just going to give and deliver these giveaways based on how they come in. That's it. We're just going to give it away based on how they come in. So please share and keep that going. So with that, we do have an amazing guest with us here today. She's familiar. You've seen her around here before, here and there. A time or two. She's been around, but we got to having a conversation a couple of weeks ago, and we thought about what this season meant. And there's a lot that's going on. We know about SAD, seasonal affect disorder, and we understand that even if nothing happened as far as triggers and trauma and losses in life, that this season can just do a number on us mentally, emotionally, physically. But when one of those things has also manifested itself and become present, it really flips the script. So our guest today, Coco Mom, our proud Coco Mom, Elle, is here to share her story, her journey, and what has birthed from what she has experienced. So please, everybody, welcome to the stage our proud Coco Mom, Elle.
Hey, lady.
Hey, pretty girl.
Hey, girl.
Beautiful lady. How are you?
I'm okay. I'm
loving that tree in the back. You giving me a whole ambiance, a little red curtain. We got a plan. We got a tree.
Yes. This is my little, y'all know I love Christmas. So this is my little Christmas setup.
Yes, very much giving I love Christmas. Right. It's very much giving that. Right.
It's very much giving. Let me her before she started playing, but it's very much so giving. Mariah Carey, please. Alexa, please play.
Y'all want me to sing it? I'll sing it.
No, it's fine. No, it's fine.
Not that you had to get your throat, Anika.
Yes.
Real quick, hold on, Anika. I don't know what you just shifted at that light.
Right.
I don't know what you just shifted, but that red is popping, Hunty. Let me go ahead and say that right now. I don't know what
light on. I forgot that this is really melanated skin, so I had to turn my light on.
Hey, baby, but you popped out. That's all I wanted to say. That you popped out real cute with that light, baby.
Hey to our Coco Mom Kia. Hey to Coco Mom Makia.
Good morning, ladies. Good morning. Good morning to me.
Happy holidays. Hey, to everybody that is tuning in. It is so great to be here with everybody today. So we're just going to jump right into the thick of it. Before, Elle, we have you kind of share your story and just enlighten us in the spirit of things. Just as we wrap up this year, I wanted to pose a question to you all. You know how we always talk about our Coco Mom superpower? We ask that question of ourselves and others. Just wanted to, and I'll start with T, throw it out, kick it out to you. And if it hasn't, that's fine. Have you rediscovered any superpowers about yourself this year? Is there any superpower that you've rediscovered or shifted as it relates to your Coco Mom superpower this year?
Yeah, I think my thing has been like helping people laugh through their pain. And I think what I shifted and realized just within this last year and a half of my own healing journey is that I've been helping myself laugh through my pain as well. And with that laughing, I've been able to process, to heal, and to remove a lot of things from my life. And for that, I'm grateful. I've also discovered that I'm a humor conversationalist. And so that's going to be my new job title, because I feel like in different situations, sometimes it's easier to laugh through it and to find a little humor in it. And we all do it. It's just not in that moment. But years later, you can be like, man, you remember when so-and-so, and that wasn't funny in that moment. But once you heal from it and you process through, you're able to kind of go back and laugh. And so my goal is to help people to laugh in that moment, so that depression doesn't set in, that anxiety doesn't set in, that fear to move forward and to heal doesn't set in. And then you'll be able to laugh your way to the finish line. So that's what I kind of rediscovered. And I'm looking for 2022 to go into of helping folks to be able to heal through laughter, because it talks about it in the Bible too, because I got some scriptures for
it. Humor conversationist. And you just better. Listen, don't be trying to throw that out there. You can know the word and live the word. That's what you're supposed to do. So I'm glad to hear that you have just gone through some discovery and things like that, and you definitely use humor as a means to help navigate. So you just kind of are now stepping into or defining specifically what it is that you've been doing.
And before I jump into that, I want to tie that back into self-care. I had to learn self-care. I had to learn really what self-care was, and I really didn't pay attention to it until we started doing our segments on it.
Yeah.
And me, like everybody else that was tuning into us, was like, but I get my hair done. You know what I'm saying? I go get manicures and pedicures, and it's like, but I don't know which one of y'all threw that out there, but we was like, that's maintenance. Mm-hmm. Maintenance is not self-care. And so I had to learn what that difference was. But when I got into the thick of the self-care piece and like doing things that actually truly make me happy and fulfilled and like help me process through, that's when all of the extra healing came into play. So I just want to throw that out there to the folks that's listening. Learn some self-care tools that you can use to get you through that day-to-day, man, because without it, you're going to get so heavy and that tunnel going to be so dark and deep and cold that you're going to feel like you can't climb out. So, you know, that's what I got to say. I've been there, lost my mind, wrote the check on it, and the book is coming, okay? But, you know, through God's grace, I'm here. And so self-care was a big role in that.
Thank you for that. Thank you. And Anika, our Healing Coco Mom, throw this question to you. Has your Coco superpower shifted or enhanced this year at all? Any new powers that you discovered? Talk about it.
Thank you, Alexia. Yes, I would absolutely. I guess I wouldn't have even given that term to it, but I'm so glad you mentioned it because it absolutely has enhanced. Mm-hmm. I think, in addition to healing and supporting Coco Moms on their journey of healing, I myself had to be the first partaker of understanding how to let go and how to speak to my mind to let go of some things. I think there were a lot of things that healed in my heart, but I wanted to hold on to the pain, to the memories, to false hope. Right? Hope that wasn't rooted in God, but just rooted in my own desires. And so there were some days I had to make some declarations and just repeatedly say, God, I let go of anyone and everything that's not for me so that I can receive all that you have and who you have for me. And I realized that in doing that, shifting how I thought and aligning my thoughts with God and aligning my thoughts with his will for my life, it supported 100%. It supported my healing, because now my healing again was rooted in who he is and not just how I wanted the day to go. So absolutely, it has enhanced. And I'm excited for that, to support other Coco moms and understanding that sometimes you have to talk to your mind and tell your mind to let it go. Sometimes you got to declare it every day. I'm going to let it go, because when we don't let it go, it will drag us down to wherever that thought is.
It's the declare for me.
Declaration.
It's the declare for me.
This is the real declaration of independence. Okay.
Period.
This is the real declaration of evolution. Like,
and it will be televised.
And it will be televised. And like, not even just figuratively, Anika, you could tell, and we've had this conversation, like, you have to speak it like out loud. Look in the mirror with tears coming down your face and shaking and all of that. You know, you have to address it and speak it over your life, because as much as we believe in God and as much as we trust God and our crazy faith in God, as we've been walking through, it's a reminder that God has given us this power to declare it over our life, to declare the decree that he has given us. So it's like we got to make sure that we do that. So thank you for lifting that up as a reminder that is our superpower. Our superpower can be to let go, to freedom. There's so much liberty in freedom. And so just another feather in your healing journey, in your healing hat, is a beautiful thing. Elle, I'm gonna have you go, even though we're gonna transition back in, and then I'll go, and then we'll get back to you and talk through how your superpower has manifested itself in other ways too. But what about you? Any enlightenments that you've had this year about your power, your superpower as a Coco queen, Coco mom?
I think when we were at our last brunch and we kind of went around, and remember, I couldn't figure out what it was. And Kia, the other Kia, had mentioned, she was like, transparency. And so, and I never really thought of that as being a superpower, because I'm like, that's who I am. I just talk. Like, I like to talk. I like to tell people all the things. So I think for me, like, leadership and transparency, because in this season right now, the Lord has me leading a lot of different small groups for church and a lot of different like women groups, and just being able to be transparent in my journey about the things that I've gone through, that I've experienced in the moment. Because a lot of people will do the whole like, oh, I went through that 3 years ago or 5 years ago, and now I'm on the other side. But it's like, when you were in it, what did you do? And so I thank the Lord for that transparent piece, because a lot of people can't be transparent in the middle of the journey. They only talk about it once they've conquered it. And so I think definitely the Coco power of transparency, that's the one.
Ooh, I love it. Leadership and transparency as a superpower. Come through. Thank you for that. And it has been. Alexia. I love your post, the in the car with your scrubs on, okay? Fresh out the COVID clinic.
and I want to just jump in there real quick and say, Elle, I appreciate you saying all of that, because we have all watched you grow right into exactly what you said. You know, if we go back to 2 years ago when we all first started this Coco Connect, you weren't as transparent. You were, you know, at the beginning of your healing journey, and you were trying to figure out exactly what you were supposed to do with this journey and what that looks like for you. And so I just want to lift you up, sis, and say everything that you just said, we have watched it in real time, of your growth and your evolution of transparency. And I reshared your jump from yesterday, because that was right on time for me. I needed to know and to hear that everybody is not my assignment. So your videos are touching folks, whether they like, share, comment, or what. Your words are being heard, and people are healing because you're healing and you're sharing your journey. So shout out to you for this road of transparency. Yeah.
Yes. And I would just say too, as to wrap up, just in things that have been enlightened, and I think mine is an enhancement too, as well. So not necessarily anything new, but what I have identified and enhanced maybe about the Coco Mom Evolve superpower is how to stop trying to evolve everything. So the superpower of pulling back and sitting down, it has been definitely something that started even about we'll just say maybe a year and a half ago, but it's starting to reflect itself even more as to the importance of, everything does not have to be perfect. I heard God speak so clearly to me the other day. It's like, I didn't say that. You can stop that now. You've been doing it and I ain't said nothing, but you can go ahead and stop doing that now. So thank you. Put it down and walk away. So I'm appreciative of being able to hear from God, and just understanding that staying in the lane that God has me in this season, of that's a part of evolution too. Like, evolving doesn't always mean you have to be moving. Sometimes the best way to evolve is when God says, be still and don't do nothing. So shout out to everybody who is just tuning in. It is our final Coco Connect of the year. And we are here with Elle, our proud Coco mom. She is our guest today. And today's conversation, our Coco Connect, is around love and loss during the holidays. We just got finished talking about our shifts, changes, enhancements, and additions as it relates to our superpower. So please feel free to drop that in the chat as we transition on and give Elle the space to just speak to us. As you just mentioned, leadership and transparency is the gift and the talent that God has lifted up for you in this season. And so today is a really special day. And we thank you for trusting us and trusting the community with this day. And we just want to turn it over to you to share with us your journey, why this day is so important, and what has birthed even from the experiences that you've had.
Thanks so much, ladies. All right, so today is actually the 2-year anniversary of the day that I lost Chris. He was like about to go to like a nice, what was it, a comedy festival or something like that, and it was date night. And long story short, he never came home. And the one thing I learned that day, for anyone who's watching who's married, like when the Bible says the two become one, like it's real. Because when I tell y'all, like I got home 10 minutes later, I felt unsettled in my spirit. Like I knew something was wrong. And literally people thought I was crazy. I was calling around like, did y'all see Chris? Did y'all see Chris? And people are like maybe he's here or maybe he's there. And I'm like, no, like I know my husband, like something's going on. And so I felt something in my spirit that like something was not right. And long story short, we ended up finding out that he passed away. He had a thromboembolism, which basically means that there was a blood clot somewhere in his body that had traveled to his lung. And that's the way he passed away. And I was 7 months pregnant at the time with a child that we weren't going to find out what we were having. So we nicknamed it Blue. For many of reasons, but we just felt like instead of calling the baby it, like we had to figure something out. And so Blue was the nickname. And as you all know, like her nickname is still Blue because that's what her dad knows her as. And I remember just kind of being there, and they had already said that he had passed away, and like looking to find out what we were having because he wanted a girl. And I just knew it was a boy. Everybody's telling me like, oh, the way your stomach looks, like it's a boy. And I wanted a boy. So I was good with that. Lo and behold, he's over here telling everybody like, oh, it's a girl. I want a girl, blah, blah, blah. And so I looked, and we found out together because that was the agreement. We were going to find out together. So I found out that day that I was having a girl. And I just remember like just crying. Like in that moment, I'm just like, wake up, like it's a girl, like you got your girl. And we tried for this baby. We had 2 early losses before in the past, like one when I was very young, I was like 18, and then another one we were married. It was like maybe 3 or 4 years before. So the doctor told us, I had like a procedure done. They like opened my tubes and did all of this stuff right before I got pregnant with her. And the doctor was like, okay, we're going to try this procedure. If it doesn't work, you just do IVF. And even while I was pregnant, I had a lot of complications with her. And I was 17 weeks pregnant. They were about to do emergency surgery. And I just remember me and Chris looking at each other and being terrified. And he was like, babe, it's going to be fine. Like, this baby's going to be fine. Like, you're going to be fine. Like, this is the baby that we're supposed to have. And there was one doctor there who went a step above and beyond and was like, wait, we're going to see what's going on. Don't do the surgery yet. Let me get a second opinion. And she got a second opinion because they told me if I got the surgery done, since I was 17 weeks, there was a chance I would lose the pregnancy. And we trusted God and we believed in this doctor, like called for a second opinion, and they ended up not having to do the surgery. And I'm so grateful for that because unbeknownst to us, a few months later, I would lose my husband and I wouldn't have a second chance of, getting pregnant again. And so shout out to the docs at Pennsylvania Hospital because they really, really, like, she saved my daughter's life, like legit saved my daughter's life. Her name was Asta Meta and Dr. Jose Mendoza. They're so decent. And they just made sure that I was taken care of and that baby girl was taken care of. And so we found out that we were having a baby girl and nobody really knew we were pregnant. Our friends and family knew that we were pregnant, but I didn't make a big deal about it because I had those 2 losses and I worked in women's health. And I just was like, if this thing goes south, I don't want people asking like, how's the baby doing? Or how, like, I didn't want any questions. So we decided to keep it a secret. And when he passed away, an article came out that I was pregnant. And when I tell y'all that boxes and boxes and boxes and like I couldn't walk into the living room. Literally, you open the front door and like straight back to the living room, boxes, straight up to the ceiling, boxes. And the outpour of love and support for this baby, like the registry sold out twice. Like literally, I had to keep adding stuff to the registry because people just sending all this stuff to the house. And one day I walked down there and I made a declaration, like I was so blessed in this time of need that I wanted to be able to help other families. I wanted this loss to not only be a loss in a time of sorrow, but I wanted it to be a way that I'm able to outpour to others because we had double of everything and triple of everything, 2 car seats, 2 strollers, 2 this, like all this different stuff. And I told the Lord from then, I said, I'm going to figure out a way to bless other families who may be going through the worst time of their lives, whether they've lost a loved one, whether they experience homelessness, whether they're just less fortunate and don't have anything for their child. I wanted to make it my business to, in my abundance, bless others. So that's how my nonprofit Beauty Over Ashes, which I got the name from one of our lovely Coco moms, our Coco Mom Evolved, gave me the name for it. And it was literally birthed out of seeing the beauty in the situation over the ashes. And oddly enough, Chris was cremated. So it's literally the beauty of my pregnancy and my new daughter over the actual death of my husband. And so that's how Beauty Over Ashes was birthed.
I'm sorry. I gotta put a pin right there for a minute.
Thank you.
Just because like there's so much that we gotta jump into. But before we hit on the first piece, I just want to read the scripture for everyone, just so that we're kind of all settled. So Beauty Over Ashes, the hashtag, the project that Elle was talking about, the initiative comes from Isaiah 61:3. And I'm reading from the New International Version, and it says, "And provide for those who grieve in Zion, to bestow on them a crown of beauty instead of ashes, the oil of joy instead of mourning, and a garment of praise instead of a spirit of despair. They will be called oaks of righteousness, a planting of the Lord for the display of his splendor. And just lifting that up for those who have seen the hashtag and, heard the words that Elle have just said. And one of the things that I absolutely heard you say is, and lifted it up, is that, like we hear, the word says God will open the windows of heaven and pour you out a blessing that it will not be room enough to receive it. And we don't always necessarily look at that in our time of despair. But those two scriptures align, and creating for the Lord's splendor is you. And the blessing that you have been able to be to other people. So just wanted to read that scripture. Thank you, T, for dropping that in for Isaiah 61:3. And just also give the other ladies a minute too, if there's anything, Anika, T, that you just wanted to lift up for Elle before we let her continue on about what she has delivered thus far.
I think one thing that really, a couple of things that stood out. First of all, Elle, thank you for your evolved Coco power of transparency and even being willing to have this conversation. And I think what really stood out for me was your intentional decision at the very start of all of this to become a support for other women. And, I don't say that lightly, and I don't disregard others that may not come to that place so early on, because I myself have been there. But I think oftentimes for all of us, it's very natural and human to stay in a space. And it doesn't mean that when we move into what God has called us to do, that we won't ever feel the pain again. Not at all, right? But he said that he'll give us a peace that surpasses all understanding. And everyone may not even understand how you were able to turn your grief into purpose and move intentionally to support other women. But it just really speaks to your faith in God. It speaks to that even in your weakness, he was your strength, and how you held on to his strength in order to move forward. So, thank you again for your love, and for being a representation of what the love looked like in you and Chris's relationship, and being a representation of what God looks like, his love looks like in the world, right? Because even when he gave his only begotten son to die for our sins, the word first says that he first loved us. For God so loved the world. And so in that, and in the giving, is because he loved. And in your giving is because you've loved. So thank you.
Amen. Amen. T?
All of that. And Elle, what I heard you say at the top was that you, for the union of marriage, and how two become one. And you took that and you were able to break that down for actual actions, right? That you knew that even in that moment when you didn't know where Chris was, you knew that he needed you. And you were able to take that action and that gift of love and be able to find out what happened, but also to use that love that you two had as one and be able to share that one through Blue, and then allow her to be able to share it through, all of the things that you have her in, and her beautiful line. Let me go ahead and throw that out there, because, we like to plug our stuff. We got the Blue line. So gone over there, because it done sold out a couple of times, but y'all go ahead over there, and she making some more. She making some more. So because it's sold out don't mean don't place an order or do that inquiry when it come back in stock, because we still want to support. We still want to support this legacy, right, that Chris has left for you and Blue, even with her name. And I just want to lift you up for just even honoring the decisions that you all made as a couple, as a marriage, as husband and wife, even down to the nickname for Blue, and what that meaning is for her as she moves forward with the legacy that you all are creating for her. So, Elle, listen, like Alexia and Anika said, man, we lift you up. Kia said it so much in the comments. We value you being here with us this morning with this conversation. Alexi, I'm gonna throw it back to you.
No, thank you both for that. And Elle, you know, we just love you. So again, let's keep lifting Elle up and each other up, because like Anika said and T said and Elle, we've all said, there are moments where God allows you to be in these positions for a particular purpose. And so whatever your journey is, whether you are navigating it silently because you're not sure what to do, there's some tools and resources that we have out there, and that is what Coco Life Black is about. And one of the resources is Beauty Over Ashes. So you created this project, Beauty Over Ashes. Go like where you came, but it's like, then what happened next?
To be honest, I sat on it because I was like, all right, Laura, I had my note section in my phone. And I was like, this is what I'm going to do at some point. And I sat on it for a while because I wasn't ready and I was still grieving, but I knew that eventually I would do something with it. So one day I was talking to one of my friends. She's actually a midwife at Pennsylvania Hospital. And she was like, hey, my church is doing this community baby shower. Do you want to help and like, you know, do little stuff? And I'm like, oh, sure. So the first year I literally, what did I do? I don't know. I did wherever was needed. I was like, okay, whatever's needed, like I'll donate some stuff. So that's what I did the first year. I donated all the surplus that I had from all of the things that were sent to me for Blue's baby shower. I just gave it all. I was like, okay, here's some stuff. And that day I helped and pitched in wherever was necessary. And then the next year, the Lord was like, you need to partner. And I was like, nope, I'm good. Like, I'm gonna just do the same thing I did last year. I'll donate some stuff and that's it. Because I'm like, Lord, I don't have the capacity to partner. And he was like, you should partner. And as I was talking to Michelle, she told me that she also got a prophetic word that I was supposed to partner. And I was like, see, the Lord is sneaky, because when you don't listen to him directly, he's going to make sure you get the message some way. And so this year when we had it, I partnered. So it was Movement Church in partnership with Beauty Over Ashes. And I helped when it came to like the stuff for the moms, because one thing I've realized is that after you have a baby, nobody cares about you. It's only about the baby. They don't call to see how you doing. They like, hey, what's the baby doing? Like, that's really the extent of how it goes. So I wanted to intentionally make a space for moms and the different things that they would need after having a baby. And so that was my task for this year. And so that's one of the projects that I will continue to do every single year, is the community baby shower with Movement Church. The Lord laid on Pastor Michelle's heart to do outreach in the community. And I think in this season, the Lord is showing me, like, I know I don't have the capacity to do anything by myself, but community is what he's showing me. And so I don't have to reinvent the wheel and recreate the wheel. But if it's somebody else who's doing a project who the Lord tells me like, oh no, go help them with that, I'm all for it. And so right now, that's kind of where Beauty Over Ashes is that we are partnering with local organizations who are doing things in the community to just, make sure people have what they need.
I love that. Collaboration is key. And shout out to Pastor Michelle and the amazing Coco Connect Pastor Maurice.
The big homies.
Yeah, it is definitely a beautiful thing to watch and see the community come together. And you did say something, Elle, that just want to acknowledge too. It is true. We do sometimes, even as a community, focus so much on the baby. We have got to focus on the mom. I'm not saying ignore the baby, but one community member take the baby, another community member take the mom. I've been gifting doula services as my baby shower gift, along with diapers, onesies, and things like that. But yeah, we got to take care of these moms. Like you see it happening from perinatal to postpartum. So we got to keep an eye on these moms. So,
and shout out to the village, right? Like I heard you talk about village support from the beginning, the boxes upon boxes. And even now, when you post the pictures of like folks coming over and hanging out with Blue, or, you know, all of the men that was involved in Chris' life now being involved in Blue's life. And like, you know, all of those things are things to be lifted up, because sometimes when folks pass on, so do their memories, so do their relationships with other folks, so do their influence on other folks, and they go away. And like, you know, when someone passes, like, oh, yeah, that's real sad, right? And they seem to kind of fall off and trickle off. So shout out to those community members that was in you and Chris' life way before Blue, that has now transitioned, right, with you all, even though Chris is not here, but they are standing in a place where be able to lend you that male support. So I just wanted to lift up, because we talk about community so much over here at Coco Life. And I wanted to shout that out because you mentioned it. And we wanted the folks that's in that community that's going to watch this to know that we lift y'all up and we applaud you all, because village essentials and village strength is something that is so important, that we found out that a lot of people don't have support, that a lot of people don't have a good village that's going to lift them up and hold them. And so they not going to be able to turn trauma to triumph, because they don't know how, and they don't have the village to hold them. And like, you know, you and Alexia were saying, postpartum, right? Postpartum depression is a real thing. It's a real thing that a lot of women in our community don't talk about, and is not receiving support for, because we focus just on a baby. And so moms, we here for you. You know, if you're dealing postpartum depression and grief together cause trauma, you know, allow your village to help you turn that trauma to triumph at some point of that journey, and to know that you're not alone. Allow us to be able to be that village if you don't have it, because we want all of us to thrive in whatever aspect of healing journey you may be on.
Thank you for that, T. That's so crucial. And yeah, Jazz Village, Coco, our diva Coco mom, divine diva Coco mom, Jazz, the village is the foundation. As the African proverb said, it takes a village to raise a child. It takes a church to raise a village, and you know, all of that. So Elle, one of the things that came up too from what you were saying in this transition period that you're in, right? And please, for anybody who's listening in, we just putting it out there, Elle is not by any means trying to say that like she's healed, she's done it, I'm good, I'm done. That is not the message. The message.
I'm sorry, what you say? Hell no, Elle.
You read my lips, honey.
Yeah. I read lips.
Hey, if y'all really want to talk about this week, we can.
Hello. That's
a whole nother hour, and I don't think y'all for a whole nother hour.
But no, to that point, this is why we wanted to make the connection, because this will continue on beyond this Coco Connect. So before we start to wrap up, though, there's a word, Elle, that started out as a cuss word, and it can be very triggering. And I want to talk about, and want you to talk about, and take us through this word, widow, and just help us to identify just a little piece of what your experience has been navigating around that word.
So I'm not going to say we. I'm going to say I hate the word widow. I literally just started accepting it like a few months ago, like literally. And it's only because I know I can comprehend that we need a title for it, right? But the reason why many of us hate the word widow is because we don't want to be one. So why are you calling me this thing that I shouldn't even be in the first place? Like, I don't want to be in this category. My husband should be alive. So don't call me that, because I don't want to be it. And so I remember, and when we talk about village support, like, it's so necessary for village support. And this will probably end up being a different Coco Connect, and like how you support people who are grieving, because it's very hard for the person who is grieving and the person who's trying to support the person who's grieving. And everybody meant well. Everybody was like super dope. But I remember one person sending me this Instagram, and she was like, oh my goodness, I just found this super dope group. It's called the Young Hot Widows Club. I was like, listen, I wasn't as saved 2 years ago. So the words that came after that weren't the greatest words, but it was because I'm like, Young Hot Widows Club, like, and people are on there like smiling and being like, yeah. And I'm like, it's not real. Like, what are you talking? Like, Young Hot, like, no, just no. And it literally, so when you're grieving, a lot of the emotions that you feel just turn into anger and rage. And so that's how I felt. And I was like, this is stupid. This shouldn't even be an Instagram. It's dumb. But after, it's funny because I saw a TED Talk from one of the founders, and the TED Talk was awesome. It was amazing. And it was like a year and a half into my grief journey. And then I was able to go back and look at the Instagram and appreciate it much more. And so the word widow, when you're in the beginning of your journey, is a trigger word, is a word that you hate, is a category you do not want to be in. It's just a no. It's absolutely a no. Especially like in your 30s, in your 20s, even in your 40s, like you're like, how? Like I literally should be living the best years of my marriage at this time, especially when you get married young. And so it's not a category that you want to be in. And so then I experienced something where I had to, one of the small groups that I lead for church, they asked marital status. Oh, I hate the question. The question is stupid. I understand why the question exists, but like as a grieving widow, the question's stupid. But the options were married, single, divorced. That's it. I'm not any of them. Like, I don't feel like I'm any of them. And because the small group leaders are typically younger, didn't ever think of having widow as an option, because when you think of the word widow, you think of like someone in their 70s or 80s who have like lived their whole life with their partner and now they've passed away due to like whatever reason. So I had to message the church like, hey, I need the option for widow because I'm not single, I'm not married, but I am, and in that moment, I was like, that's why the word exists. So I still am not a fan of the word, but in that moment, I realized why the word exists, because I don't feel single at all. And I know that technically I'm no longer married. So I guess that's the category I'm into.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wow. I didn't even think about that.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Mm-hmm. Thank you. I swear, I didn't think about that. I didn't think about when you were talking about the word was a cuss word. I'm like, dang, I know a whole bunch of them. Which one is that? And then when she started saying, I was like, oh, got you. Curse word taboo, right? Mm-hmm. And so, Elle, thank you for even that enlightenment, because I swear I had no idea about the power of that word, depending on where it falls into the placement for someone's journey. Wow. Thank you.
Yeah. Just thinking in terms of categories and how things are identified. Like you said, you got to a point where you understand why it exists, and the category could have been, sheep, and then we would have disliked the word sheep, right? It's just is nothing. You don't want to connect with that word, because then reality starts to set in. And when you go through those stages of grief, it's not always linear. And it's going to be a journey, and it's difficult. And so even lifting that up for the village, right, to know, please don't just start shouting widow all over the place from the hills.
Listen, somebody like, I'm glad you said that, because I was about to say, as a village member, we have to be more intentional about how we approach folks in their grief journey. And know that it's not all fluid. Everybody's not going to heal the same way. Everybody's grief is not going to look the same way. Some people cry, somebody screams, somebody go inside, somebody out. Like, it's all of these different process of emotion that goes with the individual. And so as a village, what I heard was, don't be quick to jump to put titles and categories in people's lives as they are processing whatever they may process. Allow them to put the title on what they feel like they fit into. And that's even just to kind of put it back for people that's visual. The word widow, right, is the same as like survivor or victim. People get to choose when they want to put that title into whatever journey they are in. Some people feel like they're a victim. Some people feel like a survivor. And I feel like it's that person's choice to put what they want on them. And so that's what I heard you, Elle, when you said about the word widow, allowing folks that are in that position to choose when or if they want to even use that title into their situation. So I'm going to be more intentional and more mindful about the words that I choose to use when folks are grieving. And thank you. Yeah. Community, that's for us.
Yep.
That's for us.
Just a message.
Take home.
PSA, do not just be shouting that, word out all willy-nilly.
And got a question.
Like one of the things that I try to be intentional about too is not saying, hey, how are you? Like I had to take that sentence in this case, right? I may ask it in other, but not being sure exactly, or being sure, I should say, being mindful of how that could spark. That was something I do not say, or it may slip out here and there, Elle, or what have you. But for the most part, I am not a, hey, how are you doing type of conversation not happening.
And I love it because you'll call, and I started doing it myself. You'll call and you'll be like, hey, just checking in. And then that's it. And I love that. I was actually telling somebody that morning, like, when you're grieving, like certain things could be a trigger that's not usually a trigger. And so people being like, hey, I'm just calling to see how you doing. Or even like, oh, I had this happen to me once before. I actually was okay. Like that particular day, I was okay. Somebody called like this. Hey, I know today is super hard for you. I was fine. I was literally okay. I'm in the bank doing something like getting some paperwork done for my business because I know Chris would be cussing me out like, you still ain't go to the bank and open up the business. So I'm like, all right, today, it was his birthday. Today is his birthday. You know what I'm going to do today? I'm going to go to the bank and finally get my paperwork together because I've been playing. Let me do this to honor my husband. And I get this phone call. I was like, ain't this some? So guess what? The rest of my day, throw it in the trash. Throw the rest of the day in the trash. Like, and so, but again, I feel like because I have like enough emotional intelligence to know that that was the way she was trying to support me. And people don't know how, like, that's the real truth. People don't know how to support you, so they just do whatever they can. So I accept whatever. Now, a lot of the stuff I accept is not the same stuff other people going to accept. So I try to tell them now, like, I was okay because I knew what you meant, but you probably don't want to use those words when you're talking to somebody else because they're not going to receive it the right way. And so for me, I just accepted the love, whatever way it came, because I knew that I needed it. And I know that usually, because I suffer from depression outside of this, I know usually when I'm in a state of depression, I tend to like isolate myself. And the series of events happened, like Chris died in December. I had Blue in February. COVID shut the world down in March. I didn't have any space. Like I had to isolate myself from germs, I guess, in the beginning of COVID, but I had to make sure that I made myself available to people who wanted to love me. So because I was making myself available to people who wanted to love me, I knew that they didn't know how to support me in this way. Because again, me and all my friends are young. I don't have friends over 50. So we've never dealt with a loss of somebody's partner before. Never. Nobody's lost a husband or a wife in my friend group. So I knew that because of that, people just didn't know. So I accepted all the love because I'm just like, that's her way or his way of saying like, hey, I want to make sure you're okay. And hey, I want to love on you. And I don't know how to do that. So I'm just here. And I appreciated that. So I had people come to my house because people know who I am and I'm not going to answer the phone if I'm sad or depressed. I'm just not. So they come to the house, open the door. We know you in there. Let's go. Or like drop food off. Like, and that was the type of love and support that I needed because naturally I'm going to go into my cocoon. So like T said earlier, like shout out to the village because literally from December 11th, 2019 until I'm going to say like today. Like I got flowers on my doorstep yesterday, like in a package. You know what I mean? Just like, hey, thinking of you, all the text messages that, I'll see them in like about 2 weeks or so, but just all the love and the support that everybody continues to show me, even, like y'all lifted up in the beginning, like Chris's friends are now my friends, and like they want to be in Blue's life and they want to see Blue, and all of that stuff has just been so amazing because it's exactly what I need. And it's not, I'm not a person who accepts love from people. It's very hard for me to accept love and support. Like it's weird. This is new for me. So just going into this knowing like I need to accept love and support. So, okay, here we go. Just it.
Yeah, that's real. Really real. So before we kind of give you the space to help to transition us out, question came up in the chat. And as you mentioned, you are very young. And so one of the thoughts around that, and you may have gotten this question before, is your openness to remarrying, and have if and here's the thing, like we a village, we're a community, so you get to press the staple stop button and all of that kind of stuff, but just kind of putting it out there for you. Question that came up in the chat: are you open to the idea of being married again?
So what's funny is I remember when Chris first passed away, and somebody said to me like, oh, it's fine, you'll get remarried again. That was a trigger. I don't want to talk about that right now because my husband just died, whatever. But we're 2 years out, and I remember something that was very helpful, which I also still didn't want to hear. My father-in-law, actually, like Chris's dad, I was talking to him one day, and he was like, God's going to send you another husband. Again, did not want to receive it, because when you're in it, you're in it. Like you're in that, like, why would somebody say something to me? I don't want to talk about like what's to come. Like I'm in this space right now. Like he took the husband from me. Like this is how I felt. Like I felt like when Chris died, I felt like I was robbed. Like I'm just going to be completely transparent. I was like, Lord, you robbed me. You showed me my life and you told me all the things that I was going to do. And you lied. That's legit how I felt. And I'm going to tell y'all, it wasn't until a couple months ago, like literally maybe 2 or 3 months ago, I came to the conclusion that God had not lied to me. Like, and sometimes I still be like, all right, Lord, so where do I go from here? So to be honest, I think that I will end up remarrying eventually. Yeah, definitely not in a rush. I felt like Chris was specifically for me because I don't cook, I don't clean. I got real.
Let me tell you how I got that ring. Oh, thought you were singing the Cardi B song. I don't cook, I don't clean, but let me tell you how I got that ring. Go ahead, show them, tell them, Elle.
She must listen. Anyway, shout out to Cardi B, who came up with that. It's so funny because I don't do any of those things. I am not like what a traditional wife would be. Chris was perfect because he accepted the fact that what I wasn't going to do, I wasn't going to do. And he was like, all right, babe, that's fine. You don't have to. So I'm open to it, but I'm not cooking. I'll clean a little bit. There are a lot of things that I'm just not willing to do. So if it got to be me and Blue here, or the Lord going to evolve me to a different person, sure. But we'll kind of see. But the short answer is eventually, like I do see myself married again. I just know that in this space of not having a live husband, I have some development to do within myself. And the relationship that I have with the Lord, like, is stronger than it has ever been before. And not saying that when you're in a relationship or you're married, it hinders your relationship with God. But I feel like I've reached a new level of intimacy and dependence on the Lord that I needed to get to. And I feel like I may have not gotten to this point being married.
But that's real, like what you just said about like God gave us permission because he knew we were jacked up to get to marry, but it does. Anytime there's another relationship that has to be exalted, it can take precedence. And that's why we have to be so intentional about our relationship with God, because you're right. You said it right there. Like, it definitely can. Facts. And yeah, shout out to the Coco moms who are just living in their truth. When you said that, it made me think of Coco mom Taquana, who was on during Autism Awareness Month. And in her vows, and I was there and got them recorded, she said, I may not always cook, but you'll eat. So shout out to that. Nika, if we could, I just wanted to kind of give you this space too, to give us just some coping strategies, like a coping strategy or two that we can use. Because this is, again, we go back to love and loss during the holidays. And so we are not at all lost on the fact that, many of us have experienced a loss. And like T said, we all navigate it differently. So if you could give, we're your clients today. All right. Think of us as writing on the wall clients. All right. And we're coming and what would be a coping strategy or two that you would give to how we can navigate this space?
Thank you. I actually have three. And before I say it, just really quickly, I wanted to, Elle, you spoke about your understanding of why the word widow exists and the space that it holds. And I just wanted to actually give a couple of scriptures as you were speaking. I was like, oh, there's a scripture for that. It says in Psalm 68:5 that the Lord is a father to the fatherless and a defender of widows. And I think it's important to acknowledge that even he holds a space for the fatherless and for the widows. And so he acknowledges how vulnerable that space is. And as you were saying, when you come and when a person that has lost comes to their own opportunity to accept the word, know that God holds that space for you as well. And then there's just one more scripture. It says, the widow who is really in need and left all alone puts her hope in God and continues night and day to pray and to ask God for help. 1 Timothy 5:5. And you even said that. You said, in this experience, not that you are walking around with a symbol on your chest that says, I'm glad my husband's dead because I'm now seeking the Lord, right? Not at all. But in this time of need, it has brought you closer to God. And every opportunity and any loss that a person experiences, our prayer is that it will draw us closer to the Lord, to know that he is our strength and that he hears our cries and that he is concerned and that you are on the mind of God. And so with that, just a few coping strategies and support for this time of year is, Elle, you actually touched on this. So it's important to recognize that grief can trigger unexpected emotions, something that will come out of nowhere, that last year you did not experience that, but this year it affects you differently. And so when it happens, allow yourself to feel the joy, feel the sadness, while also drawing on strength from others, drawing on the comfort and support of your village around you. Also, it's important to set boundaries with holiday events. You do not have to make every event. And if you want to make every event, whatever the boundary is for you, set that boundary for yourself. And lastly, while honoring old traditions and memories, know that it's okay that old traditions can also coexist with making new traditions. And in making new traditions, it's not letting go of, for you, Elle, what you and Chris did, or for our listeners, what you and your spouse did. Making new traditions for you and your children, you and your family, is not letting go of what was done in the past, but it's bringing them together and allowing them to coexist now. And that's okay. So those are my three pieces of support at this time of year when a lot of our Coco moms and Coco dads are celebrating the life of a spouse that has transitioned, while also rediscovering what it looks like to exist absent of their body. So my love to you all.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that. To all of those who tuned in today to show support, show love, show grace to yourself and to Elle and to all of us here. We are so thankful for those pieces of advice and strategies and scriptures. And Elle, if you could, just one final thing you just want to say to everyone out there who's tuning in or watching this playback.
Your journey is your journey, and it's okay to feel emotions. It's okay to feel joy, to feel happiness, but it's also okay to sometimes be sad and to feel depressed. Your emotions are your emotions, and your journey is your journey.
There it is. Couldn't say it better ourselves. We thank y'all for tuning in. Shout out to the amazing Chris Cotton. We thank you, brother, for the gift of blue. We thank you, God, for just keeping us lifted up in every way only you can. We love y'all. We appreciate y'all. Make sure y'all go and follow on Instagram _beauty over ashes. That is Elle's page where she is doing some amazing work. So we do not want you to miss out on the opportunity to do that and to be a blessing to others as well. You know, you can keep up with us. We are out here cultivating community. So you can find us at cocolife.black on IG, on Facebook, on the web. Oh my God, we got a visitor in here. I knew it. Something in my spirit.
You got a vest on? Oh.
Right.
Go ahead, bro.
Y'all see it. Y'all see that Chris Cotton line. Y'all get over there to Elle Does It All. And Elle, what's that store one? Elle Does It All. That's where you sell the clothes, right?
Yes.
Elle by Elle. Excuse me. Elle by Elle. Get y'all Chris Cotton shirts, baby. This is where it started. From what I understand of your journey, this shirt is what started it all. This shirt started it all with Chris. And listen, I done seen his videos, Elle. Me and him would have been homies. And so I appreciate the legacy that you are continuing. Shout out to the them boys, man. Put y'all on the big screen so they can see these shirts. Put y'all on the big screen, Lexi, so they can see these shirts. Y'all going on over there and get y'all Chris Cotton shirts, baby. So Moose ain't got no vest on with it either. What's up, Moose?
So before you go, I just want to share something. So one of our neighbors in Germantown is actually the father of this guy, Bilal.
Wow.
Yes. So he told me that that Bilal's actually a fan of Chris Cotton and that he wants a shirt as well with Chris Cotton's name on it.
Let's go.
This is how we spell support, y'all.
Let's go.
Thank y'all so much for tuning in. We'll see y'all in the new year.
Hey, happy holidays to you.
Happy
New Year.
Happy New Year. Peace out, y'all.
Peace, love, and hair grease.